What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the show, Mets PostGame Show, right here on both of our channels. And we got Edwin Diaz back, first save since May 6th. And that is a shot in the arm that the Mets needed. Chris, how are you feeling tonight?
Oh my goodness, Rob. I'm feeling electric. It's a Friday night. I apologize. I'm not in my normal setup. I'm in a bedroom right now, my tripod. It's Friday night. The space of the apartment, obviously, you got to just make ends meet here in terms of the space that we use. So I apologize. I can't see everybody's chats, right? I'm not in the live chat, but I'm going to check the live chat after we're done with this because I want to see how hype everyone's getting. Let's go, Mets. 7 of the last 9 are W's. Edwin Diaz is back, dare I say, and we're rolling. We didn't get it done in terms of this wasn't a monstrous game for the Mets, but this is a game that they needed so badly to set the tone of this series against a team they're looking above at. So I love it. Let's keep it rolling.
Absolutely. And, let's see what's going on. Thank God, huge win. Let's go. Edwin Diaz needed that so badly. Junior with yo. And then we have Sugar is looking sweet. Like
Sweet!
that. And then that McNeil ninth inning play was huge. Absolutely.
Huge. Can I say something about that real quick, Rob?
Yeah,
We've been just shitting on McNeil this whole time, and deservingly so. The bat has been awful. He's been looking like he's been absolutely out of the ball game in terms of the mental capacity, and he just looked like sometimes he doesn't want to be there. But to make that play behind Edwin Diaz after he surrendered that leadoff single is huge. So honestly, hats off, Mr. Jeff McNeil. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. He's been getting killed. And listen, that was an awesome play. If you look at the play, he was trying to keep the runner close at second. So he was right near the bag. And even though that ball wasn't hit really hard, he still had to get there. And look, even if he didn't get the out at first base, he needed to put his body in front of that ball, and he did, and he still made the play. So kudos to Jeff McNeil for saving that run, because that run would have scored if that ball went through. So it would have been a tie ball game, and we would talk about another blown save by Diaz, and then a lot of people would have been worried about this game, and who knows what happens in extras. But we got the save, we got the win, and Chris beats the drum on this all the time. Game 1 of a series. You have 2 opportunities now to win the series. You still have the chance of a sweep, but you have a chance of winning the series, which obviously is the important thing. You want a sweep. That would be great. That's a 5-1 homestand, and now we're really talking about something here. But the best part about this is that now you have 2 opportunities here to win a series again, and at worst, you can – look, you can go 3-3. You'll be a 500 homestand. Isn't the worst thing in the world, but best 5-1, good, 4-2. And that's exactly what we were talking about prior to the homestand, Chris. And you know what? Manaea looked better with Alvey behind the plate. Look at he has such a weird performance. Look at all the strikeouts. And I thought he was gonna have a chance to get through the 6th inning, but he kind of ran out of gas there. But I take this from Manaea. If he can give around 5 innings, couple of hits, couple of runs tonight, 1. And all those strikeouts, he looked like a dominant pitcher for at least the time he was out there. He looked really good today.
So I caught some flack on my X account because I tweeted out, "Let's go 5 solid innings from Manaea." And some people were like, "Only 5 innings? This guy's not good." I was like, listen, I'm not saying Sean Manaea is good, but if you look at what he's been doing over the course of his last couple of starts, I'm going to take that all day, every single day. I don't care if it's only 5 innings. Welcome to 2024 Major League Baseball. These starters, more often than not, unless you're an elite star pitcher, you're not going 6+ consistent innings every outing. It's not happening. So everybody expecting that, temper your expectations. This bullpen is going to have a lot more work cut out for them than they already have this season, and that's just the way it's going to have to happen. This team will depend on the bullpen more often than not, and this team will win games because of the bullpen, and by nature of it, they will also lose games because of the bullpen, just because these pitchers can't go further and further into games. I've stopped expecting that. I've said this on multiple streams. We have to stop expecting that out of Quintana, out of Manaya. The only people we should really expect it out of is Christian Scott. Honestly,
Yep.
and that's kind of absurd for me to even say with him being a rookie, and Luis Severino. Everybody else, unless I'm just forgetting somebody right now, David Peterson, not expecting 6 innings. Tyler McGill, as good as he's been, not expecting 6 innings if history repeats itself. So this rotation is not set up like that. And we can talk about discussions for next year in terms of getting personnel that are able to do that in the door, but we don't have that right now. So the bullpen's going to have to perform, and this team is going to ride in the bullpen. Hands down, but it's okay to call a spade a spade. It's okay to be objective and say that Sean Manaea holding the Padres, which is a pretty good lineup we talked about on the pregame, holding them to 1 earned run is a victory for himself, for the bullpen, for this team, and for us fans. It's okay to admit that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? They stepped up. Like you look at Adam Ottavino. We just talked about him on the pregame earlier today, right? Adam Ottavino, what spot did we just say that he needs to be in? He needs to be in that 6th inning role, occasional 7th inning. And what Mendoza saw that he had a little something tonight and was like, hey, maybe we can push him a little further. He did. He had an inning and 2/3. I was a little shocked that Mendoza took him out, even though Diekman did kind of do the job. Was a little scary in that 7th, but it was interesting to see because I was like, wow, I'm surprised he's taking Ottavino out. And I understand because look, Cronenworth, power hitter there, and Ottavino was prone to lead those sliders perfectly in the zone for a lefty. So I understand that move.
Yeah.
And I know in the group chat, I forgot who said it, but somebody was like, that was a bad bullpen move by Mendoza. I don't think
it was. Come on, you know who said it. I know who said it. Hayden.
It was Hayden, right? Okay.
It was Hayden.
I didn't see, I saw this. Okay, it was him. Yeah, it was. I wasn't sure. Because I saw it. I saw the comment, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right, so it wasn't. Yeah, Hayden said, and I don't think it was a bad move. Now, the results could have made it a bad move, but again, you can't do the results. You can't say that after the results happen.
Shout out to Hayden, by the way. Shout out. I always like looking at those group chat messages in game because he'll say Edwin Diaz or Ed Luz Diaz, and then I'll just be like, Edwin Diaz. I like that little
and then when
awesome.
when the Padres hit the home run, and he was like, Padres money line.
Padres money line.
Yeah. So look, it was a good performance all around, but I do want to damper the mood a little bit, only because I'm worried about a couple of guys in this lineup that is an issue right now. And
just say
look,
Pete Alonso. We all know it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring him up. Don't worry, I promise you that. JD Martinez again, the 2 RBI. Look, you got the game-winning RBI there, right? Yep. Early in the ball game in the 3rd inning, and nobody else really did anything else, right? There was a lot of offers in the game. Brandon Nimmo 2 for 3, nice. Yeah. Like to see that. Lindor and Pete Alonso, right? Lindor had a couple of bad at-bats today. Pete Alonso had all terrible at-bats. Like, he's lost. And, you know, we talked about how important Diaz is to the bullpen and how everybody takes a step back innings-wise where they got to pitch. Yeah. Pete Alonso has to start figuring something out. I don't know. Give him a day off. I don't like they did with Jeff McNeil. I'm not saying giving him a week off. But give Pete Alonso a day off. Let Vientos play first. Put Iglesias at 3rd. Like, let's just give him a day off. He needs a mental break. Like, as much as I think Pete Alonso is always in his own head. If you notice, he made a couple of good plays today on the field, but there was a couple of times where he was a little bit late in his first step when a ball was coming to him. He takes his at-bats to the field way too much, and not only you could just see it on his face on the field. He looks like he don't want to be on the field. He looks like he does not want to be there at all. And that's a problem because I never felt that way about Pete Alonso. As much as I criticize him, I never felt like he never wanted to be on the field. It looks like he wants to go hide and go away. Like, he really looks like that. And that's concerning because, you saw the other day with Lindor having his arm over his shoulder. They keep on panning to his face after at-bats in the dugout, on the field. He just looks like he's staring into miles away. Like, he's just lost. And I'm concerned about that because, look, as much as I kill Pete Alonso, the Mets aren't going anywhere if Pete Alonso doesn't do his job. It's just that simple. And I want to know your thoughts on that because it is starting to be concerning now again, because this is the second biggest slump in a matter of 3 months of the season. And he only had basically a couple of weeks of a good season. And I was mostly May, a little bit in May. April was and then now it's just a complete disaster right now, Chris. What do you think about Pete right now?
Yeah, I mean, Pete, this discussion is inevitable, right? With the way he's performing. I really do think that the pressure's getting to him, man. I really do think so. It's unfortunate to see, and it's a little obvious. He's in a contract year. He knows it. Scott Boras knows it. Us fans know it. The Mets know it. Everybody knows it. He's in a contract year. He needs to perform. And, some guys thrive under that pressure. To be honest with you, Juan Soto thrives under that pressure. Aaron Judge, he thrived under that pressure of betting on himself. But I don't know if Pete Alonso is going to thrive under that type of pressure. You can't expect every player to be alike in that mentality. Now, obviously, it's kind of concerning, especially if you're playing in New York, because players that go through these stretches, whether you're on a 10-year deal or a 1-year deal, expiring contract like Pete, you're going to be expected to perform no matter what the situation is. Lindor's felt this heat for so long. He continues to feel that heat, and he's already got his contract. So this isn't really a contract thing, but I think the players, in terms of their actual perspective of it, it is a contract thing. Now, like I said, baseball's a hard game. If you've never stepped onto the diamond, you probably just wouldn't know that when things go wrong for you, they will continuously go wrong for you as long as you're stuck in that kind of mindset. If you're not able to will yourself out of it and persevere and be mentally tough, then you're just going to keep on, balls are going to find you in the field. You're going to keep chasing the pitches you usually chase, and you're going to keep continuing to stack bad at bats. And that's what I see with Pete Alonso right now. So I agree with you. I honestly think it's not that pitchers have figured him out. It's not that he can't figure out pitchers. It's that he is stuck in his own ways right now, and he just can't get himself out of it. It is completely mental with him. And we talked about that, and I know you talk about it time and time again, but you look at his facial expressions. That doesn't scream confidence to me, because guess what? A lot of players out there, when they continue to struggle, they play the poker face and they have to go out there. Lindor's a great job. He does a great job at doing this. Yes, he shows frustration, but guess what? It's not over exaggerated, and it's just business as usual, professional as usual. And you'll never catch Lindor in the dugout, at least not that I've seen, pouting or anything like that. He's kind of even keel, poker face, up on the railing, cheering his guys on.
Correct.
And
Pete Alonso didn't do that.
And I'm not saying that all of these professional players are expected to live up to that standard, because guess what? Like I said, each individual player is different. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's really in his head right now. The mechanics are bad because of it. He's chasing bad pitches because of it. And he's probably chasing more pitches. He's always going to chase pitches. That's always been Pete Alonso's MO. It's always going to happen whether he's performing well or he's not performing well. But the thing is that he's chasing a lot of pitches that he would lay off of if he's doing well. And that's where I think that the difference lies. I'm never going to sit here and look at Pete Alonso, whether the Mets re-sign him or he goes somewhere else. I'm never going to say that he's not susceptible to that low and away slider or maybe that up and in fastball. He's always going to probably be susceptible to that. But when he's on the top of his game, you'll see him taking those pitches more and more. And right now, that process just isn't clicking. And I don't think that he's seeing the ball, or maybe he's not even worried about seeing the ball. He's worried where it's going to end up. And he's kind of cutting a chain in that process. And I'm thinking as a hitter and a former hitter myself. So that's where I'm kind of putting myself in his shoes. And I know a lot of fans and other people don't do that and can't do that. But I'm here to tell you, this guy doesn't like you say, Rob, he it's not that he doesn't want to be here. I know Hector says this all the time on our streams, on our roundtable. We can't just assume that these guys don't want to be here. Yes, it may look like that on the field at that given moment when the camera cuts to them, but these guys are just literally trying to figure out any way to get themselves out of a rut. And I think that the prime example right now is Pete Alonso.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we know how important Pete Alonso is, right? And we know that when he gets into these slumps, he looks really bad. But it's more than a slump, because when you have a couple of good weeks and then you have about 2 months of different months where you just look completely lost, you're gonna start questioning it. And the other thing this is very, very similar to Michael Conforto's year in his contract year. And I know last year was not a great year for Pete Alonso average wise. I know the power was still there, but again, when you're a power hitter, you're expected. Like Pete Alonso should roll out of bed and hit 40 home runs, right? It's not just about home runs. I'm sick and tired of people just worrying about home runs. Be like, oh, where are you gonna duplicate the 40 home runs, 125 RBI, 130 RBIs? Well, you can do that very much with a couple of hitters, two hitters in that lineup that can hit about that, between two hitters, and then expand your lineup. And it's not even a point of that. It's just the fact that there's other aspects of the game that I feel like I said, he takes it to the field, which is the problem. What I always get annoyed about, and with Pete Alonso, when he's struggling, you don't see him around the top end of the dugout cheering on his guys. He's just in his own world, and that's what frustrates me about him the most. Because Chris, you brought up Lindor. I didn't even bring up Lindor when he does that. When Lindor's in a slump and struggling, he's always on the top step, always rooting. Like after his at bat, if he has a bad at bat and he's struggling, right, he puts his helmet away, boom, right up the top step, cheering the next batter on. You don't see that from Pete Alonso. I'm sorry, I see that too many times.
Because he's not a captain, Rob. Like he's not like
no.
Pete Alonso's never going to be a captain.
You don't have to be a captain. You could be a teammate. We've all been there where we all struggled in sports.
Yeah.
You root on your team. I'm sorry. It's just bad. It's bad sportsmanship amongst your team. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's being a bad teammate. And you know what? There's a reason why people think he's one of the most overrated players in the top 5 in that player poll. I know that probably means more than what team you want to play on something like that. I think that matters because players are all buddy nowadays. So when you see that overrated list and Pete Alonso's in the top 5, that's more concerning, because how do we know that any of those votes weren't from Mets players, right? His own teammates. Not that, and I don't care what team players on the Padres think or this guy thinks, but I would love to. I don't feel this is why I think the chemistry is off. It might be with Jeff McNeil. It might be Pete Alonso that when he gets in his slumps, he is not the team player everybody thinks he is. When he's going good, he's on the top step. He's cheering. He's laughing. He's high-fiving everybody. Humping the pole. Like that's what he does when he's going well. When he's going bad, he's the exact opposite type of teammate. And I think that plays off on this team in a bad way.
I'm not going to disagree with you, and I really do want to turn this around to some more positive notes here besides Pete Alonso. I'm not going to disagree with you. Pete Alonso and his stature in terms of the New York baseball scene, especially being thought of as one of the faces, if not the face right now of the New York Mets, I'm not saying that he should not be the way that you're describing, because honestly, when I think of the face of a team, when I think of a homegrown player that everybody's like clinging on to, let's pay him this, let's pay him that, whatever he wants, right? We've seen these quotes and these tweets and these talking points from Mets fans that want to retain Pete Alonso at all costs. Well, with that, you got to show me, even when you're playing poorly, that you're going to be here for your teammates, because no one wants a sour grape in the dugout. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't be like that, but I can also, and we don't care about the Padres, we don't care about the Braves or anybody else in the MLB that's not named the New York Metropolitans. I can name you 1,000 other players probably up and down the card that I'm exaggerating, right? Maybe like 200 plus players that they take that same route though. Like nobody. And it's just like, I'm not going to say this is human nature, but I'm saying like, if you're performing poorly, like that's not your first instinct to do because, you're just performing poorly. But I'm not trying to make excuses for the guy. There's two sides of the coin. And I just my personal thing is like, I've let go of the notion that Pete Alonso is going to be a Francisco Lindor type, even if he's struggling. right? That's why Francisco Lindor is the leader of this Mets team, whether anybody in here wants to disagree, anybody on X wants to disagree, doesn't matter. It's clear cut. When things are going wrong or things are going right, Francisco Lindor is the leader of this team. And I think a lot of people want Pete Alonso to step into that like co-leader role, and I just don't think he's cut out for that. Now, does that mean he doesn't deserve the money that he wants? That's a whole entire different discussion. And we will have those discussions when the deadline comes around. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I hear with what you're saying, and it probably sounds like I'm trying to make every excuse for Pete Alonso in the book right now. All I'm just saying is that it's hard to like rationalize that for why he's playing poorly. And I know that you're not trying to do that, but like I think a lot of people like they don't differentiate the two. Nonetheless, anyways, that's my Pete Alonso talk. I'm done with the Pete Alonso talk. I told you all on the pregame we didn't have a Pete Alonso rant. We just had one for you all in the postgame. I said it in my 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock stream earlier on. People in here probably saw that stream as well. I said, let me reserve the Pete Alonso talk for Mr. Talking Mets with Rob. I'm not going to talk about Pete Alonso because you know who will. It's going to be Rob. Absolutely. And so I'm glad we had it at the end of the night here.
Absolutely. And to finish off the Pete Alonso discussion, the fact is, if you don't criticize the person who was the face of your franchise, then you shouldn't criticize anybody. Don't criticize the highest contract, and don't criticize Jeff McNeil, because if you're not going to do it to Pete Alonso, don't do it to anybody else, because when they play bad, keep the same energy for every single player. I get on every player, right? I'm one of the biggest Lindor supporters, but I was criticizing him to the high heavens, but I still saw him on the top step, and that shit matters to their teammates. So, all right, we did get the win, right? Now I didn't change the record, but we're 6 games under 500 now, and that hasn't been that way for a while, and we gained a game on the San Diego Padres. And again, that matters. And if I'm not mistaken, and I want to check it really quick, and I should have checked this before we came on the stream so I don't look like an idiot, but that's okay. I like to look like an idiot from time to time, right? So the Cardinals took over the 3rd spot, and just so you know, guys, the Giants were in the 3rd wildcard spot yesterday. They dropped down 2 spots, and the Cardinals jumped up 2 spots. So again, you can jump rather quickly. The Mets are 3 games out of a wild card because the Cardinals won today. But again, the Padres, where the hell are the Padres are the 2nd wild card still. So again, we're 3 games out, and we're going to continue to grow every time we win. Every time we get closer and closer to 500, we're going to be at the top of that wild card area. And that's important. And that is, why is it important? I know I keep on bringing it. A lot of people don't want to look at the wild card standings. Again, guys, we're on that 40-game plateau now towards the deadline. And that's why these games matter, especially teams in front of you, as Chris brought up in the pregame. If you didn't see it, we brought up a lot of good points in the pregame as well. So check that out. So, Chris, Quintana tomorrow. It's a little worry. I know a lot of Met fans are worried now because, look, we can win the series tomorrow, and that's a big deal going into Sunday.
Yeah.
To go for a sweep. But Quintana has been a complete disaster. You made a lot of great points in the pregame about Quintana, about possibly getting DFA'd, maybe in the bullpen. What do you want to see from Quintana? He can have a Manaea performance tomorrow, and I'll be happy with it. But he needs to have that type of performance. What do you want to see from Quintana tomorrow?
The reason why Manaea was so successful today is because he did have that put-away stuff. And I talked about it on the pregame as well. We were talking about Sean Manaea, when he's not pitching well, doesn't have that put-away stuff. He's not competitive with those sweepers or even with his fastballs. Like, I saw multiple fastballs up, pitches up that was successful for Sean Manaea in terms of getting swings and misses early in the ball game. And quite simple. If Manaea, listen, this goes for any pitcher. If they don't have the command, they're not gonna win, and they're not gonna succeed against another major league team. I don't care if it's the Padres, the Nationals, the A's, the Rockies. If you're not locating your pitches, these guys are pros for a reason. Sean Manaea was able to command the strike zone for the most part today, which is why he only gave up 1 run through 5 innings pitched, which is a win. That's a good performance. That's a great performance for Sean Manaea's standards, and we should be celebrating that. If
Yep.
Quintana is able to replicate that, even a fraction of that, I'm taking that as a win. If he gets through 5 innings and gives up 3 or 4 runs, I'm still taking that all day long from Jose Quintana. And let's just hope that the offense is able to produce more than 2 runs that they did today. Now, I will say, that Waldron guy, we got to give props to do. That guy was carving up the Mets, 7 innings pitched, only gave up those 2 runs as well. I told you on the pregame the arsenal that guy possesses, and I was like 3.76 ERA. That's pretty damn good. I got to see what this guy throws because I've never really heard of him. I don't watch Padres baseball at all. Maybe I'm a casual. I don't know. But that guy was carving the Mets up, and he was using a wide variety of pitches. Jose Quintana just needs to go out there. I'm not expecting – this is the difference of why, whenever Sean Manaea comes up to pitch, I'm like, okay, I have some confidence because I know that Sean Manaea has put away pitches in his back pocket. It's if he's able to command them. Jose Quintana has no put away pitches. He has no put away stuff. If Jose Quintana has a good start, it's because he pitched to contact, and it's because that contact was right at somebody or it was weak. And that's really hard to produce consistently at this level, especially with him throwing 91, 92 miles per hour at tops on his fastball. So like Daniel said in the pregame, I remember this comment vividly from my guy, Daniel. I appreciate you all being here. Daniel, thank you as well. Because every single time Quintana steps onto the mound, I worry, especially against a good lineup like the Padres, because if you are a contact pitcher and if you have no put away pitches, I understand that the name of the game usually is pitch to contact, and your defenders will make the out. But Quintana has been pitching to some pretty damn hard contact over his last couple of starts, and that's what really worries me. And the thing is, there's no put away pitches in his back pocket, like I just said. So what is the upside that we can expect from Quintana, even if he's at the top of his game? What are the end results going to be if he's not striking batters out? And I'm sorry to say, this league, in terms of the starting pitching standpoint, is a strike him out league. You need key strikeouts because batters are going to get theirs. They're going to hit doubles. They're going to hit an occasional home run. And when you have guys on second and third with 1 out, what do you need? You either need a pop fly, a grounder right to the third baseman not to advance the runner, or a strikeout. And you've already eliminated one of those options because Quintana doesn't get strikeouts. And I know I'm generalizing things because I'm not saying that Quintana's going to go out there and not strike out a single hitter. He'll have 2 or 3, right? But it depends on the situation. So I don't know what to expect, man. I really don't. I'm not confident in the start. And I hate to say that because we've won 7 of the last 9 ball games. But it's just that who's on the mound, I really hope he can just keep it a close ball game and that the offense comes out swinging like we said in the pregame.
Yeah, exactly. And Quintana is conveniently around the plate way too much, and that's when he gets in trouble, right? And that put away pitch that, we seen when he came back last year, he had that put away pitch, that changeup that was very good. That was the put out pitch. And that was something that we thought we were going to get. And he don't have that put away pitch right now, like you said, Chris. And hopefully he finds it. It takes, one day and you're like, wow, that bullpen session looked pretty good. Or, his warm-up session before he gets out onto the mound, like, all right, I got that pitch. He needs to find one pitch where it's his go-to pitch to be that put-away pitch. Not saying you got to strike out 7 or 8 like Manaea. I don't think Quintana is that guy anymore. But you know what? That big strikeout when you need it, that pitch is what you need to use that is working to get that big strikeout. That's that's more important than having 10 strikeouts, which is nice, but right. I'd rather see the strikeouts in bigger situations when it needs to happen with those strikeouts. So I think that's where we are when it comes to Quintana. Again, it's a big mystery for tomorrow. Would anybody be shocked if he gives up 6 runs tomorrow? No,
not at all.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Mets find a way to pull off a win because they find a way to keep themselves in every ball game, right? Another close game today, right? It was a low-scoring game. Mets hardly get blown out. They've been losing, like in June, we've been winning the close games. In May, we lost all the close games. So it's just amazing how quickly it can turn in 1 month.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, I expect it to be a 1 or 2 run ball game, regardless of the score. So if Quintana can keep it somewhat low scoring and maybe give up 3 runs or less, I would take 3 runs from him right now. I know you
All
said
day
3.
long.
I would
Sign
take
me
3
up.
runs, 5 innings. Give me that, and I have just enough confidence that the offense will keep the game close enough where we have an opportunity to win a ball game. Because the majority of our games have been close games. No matter if it's low scoring, high scoring, doesn't matter. They've been right in those ball games, and I think that if Quintana gives us even I would say a little above average start tomorrow, we'll take it and run. Just hopefully we get a win out of it, because I don't want to be playing a rubber game on Sunday. I'd rather be going for the sweep on Sunday. And that's exactly where we're gonna finish up right now.
Yeah.
With today's win, you get a little bit of a sigh of relief, because you're going in knowing that you can win a series tomorrow, at least win the series on Sunday. And I think that's the most important. Obviously, that is the most important thing. But what do you want to see tomorrow as a team that mostly lineup wise, because we talked about the pitching already, the lineup. What do you want to see from a couple of guys tomorrow? I mean, who knows who's going to be in the lineup tomorrow? It might be a whole new lineup. But what do you want to see from this lineup, especially the at bats? I want to see better at bats, but what do you need to see from this lineup for tomorrow on Saturday?
First of all, I know Ricardo said he's giving Quintana to the All-Star break. I'm going to beg to differ here and say that this is his last chance. This start against the Padres, with Christian Scott being eligible to be called up tomorrow, this is Jose Quintana's, like, in my mind. I'm not sure if David Stearns is agreeing with this. I'm not sure if Steve Cohen agrees with this or Carlos Mendoza agrees with this. From CP, from me, myself, this is Jose Quintana. If I were the GM, the Pobo making these decisions, this is his last start to prove to me that he doesn't deserve to be, 1, traded by Sunday, Monday, or 2, just flat out DFA'd if I can't get any trade for him by EOD on Monday. That's it. I'm just going to leave it at that. This lineup, though, like, listen, the production that we've gotten the last 2 days is unacceptable. I know they've been wins. They've been much needed wins. And honestly, like, imagine if we lost today's game, having to rely on a Quintana start tomorrow to get us even at a series, even in the series. Like, that would be a nightmare. So great job taking this game, and great job to the bullpen. Listen, we crapped all over Adam Ottavino, and I'm so happy that we said that we'd rather just see him in the 6th inning rather than in the later innings. Yes, it was still high leverage. I understand. But listen, they pushed him to his limit. They didn't just stop at 1 inning, right? And it was a miracle that he threw 1 inning without giving up any runs, right? They pushed him through 1 2/3 innings. Shout out to him. Sean Reed Foley, high cheddar cheese. Shout out to Sean Reed Foley. Obviously, Edwin Diaz as well, and Jake Diekman. They all got the job done. Listen, what I want to see from this lineup is timely hitting, man. JD Martinez, the last 2 nights, that's what you call timely hitting. That's what you call giving your team exactly what they need in the right situations. And that's something that we haven't seen from this lineup, even in the last 2 nights being wins. I'd like to see the Mets win a ball game 5-3 instead of 2-1. Give me more runs. Give me more production. Because the last 2 times out in the box score, it's been 2 guys, 3 guys getting base hits. Maybe 1 guy gets 2 hits, and the rest of the guys are over. Can't happen. I need production. I need better at-bats from a Brandon Nimmo. Shout out to Brandon Nimmo getting going a little bit. Now, the jury's still out on Brandon Nimmo because he's been on a very big downslide. It doesn't matter where you have batted him. He needs to get it going. Pete Alonso, same thing. I really do think that some of these guys' pitch recognition, it's not about mechanics. It's not about mechanics. These guys' mechanics will be sound all the time. Even JD Martinez, his mechanics are consistent. unless they're chasing pitches, right? You see these guys flailing their arms at outside pitches because they don't have that pristine pitch recognition right now. And one, it just takes a good set of eyeballs, but also it just takes good timing. And I think that instead of being so focused, right? If I was a hitting coach, if I was Eric Chavez, if I was Jeremy Barnes, don't want to tell them what to do. This is their job. They get paid to do it, right? At a high level. And obviously they're hitting coaches for a reason. So what I would do though, right? Because this is our podcast, this is our stream. I would say, listen, your swing is your swing. Don't care about your swing right now. Tell me, as a player, how are you seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hands? Because what I see right now from these guys in terms of the pitches they're swinging at, there is no pitch recognition. Zero. And it can be chopped up to a multitude of things. Like there's no one answer for why they're not seeing the pitch well. It could be vision problems, right? It could be something in the background behind the pitcher that's bothering them. It could be a whole plethora of things. Doesn't matter. That is the first step in the chain of hitting that you need to get down before anything else. So that's what I'm going to leave it at. Now, I know that doesn't answer anybody's questions, or I don't even know anybody that wanted to ask me that question. I'm just giving you that sort of advice because I'm sitting here watching this. I'm like, wow, he really looks like he's guessing out there. He really looks like he doesn't know what pitch is coming because they're not seeing it out of the pitcher's hand very well. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. Offense needs to be better. And they need to just produce more. That opposite field hitting, you see Starling Marte getting an opposite field base hit. You see JD Martinez getting that 2 out, or not 2 out, but just 2 RBI base knock to right field today as well. A lot of people like to crap on opposite field hitting. I understand it. It's not efficient. It doesn't produce the home run ball as efficiently as a pull side home run. I get it. But there are advantages to hitting the ball the opposite field. There are. You can't just pull outside pitches routinely and top them to the shortstop or the third baseman or even back to the pitcher if you're that late on it. You can't do it. I'm sorry. So, anyways, better approach at the plate. Let's win some ball games. Let's put up some runs. That's it. Let's go Mets. I appreciate everyone being here. Hit that thumbs up.
Yes, sir. And it is a late one tonight. So we do appreciate that. And yeah, absolutely. And you know what? When Pete Alonso is hitting well, he goes the other way with a lot of power and in the gap. And that's what I want to see. And that's a problem that Pete Alonso has gotten away from. And a lot of other guys too. But Pete Alonso in general. Pete Alonso is a great gap-to-gap hitter. He is a guy that should be driving the ball to the opposite field right now just to get going. Just pepper the ball to right field. That's what he needs to do. And if he does that, I think this line's going to be even more dynamic because I think Nimmo's going to start coming along because even though he had 2 hits today, but he did have quality at bats today. Saw a lot more pitches, and that's good to see. A lot of people were talking before we go about Jeff McNeil, that he didn't really do nothing, and yeah, but you know what? Jeff McNeil in the 9-hole now, all he has to do is have that lineup turnover. That's it. That's his job. His job is to get the leadoff man back up again. That's it. Regardless if it's his walk, hit by pitch, I don't care. Just get on base somehow. That's his job, to turn over that lineup to the top of the order. That's his job. That's any night's hitter job. But for Jeff McNeil in general, he's not hitting 300 this year unless he goes on a 3-month tear, which probably ain't happening. His job, if he's going to continue to bat ninth, get on base. That's it. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you bat 210. Your on base percentage better be a hell of a lot better. That's just it. So with that said, guys, Quintana tomorrow. Mets are 6 games under 500. Going for a series win tomorrow. Let's get a good performance from Quintana. Show up offense. That would be nice. Maybe the offense can actually win a game for once for the New York Mets besides, like twice a month. Let's just try to get the offense going a little bit. I don't want to worry in the 9th inning, all right? The other game against the Marlins when he scored 10 runs, it was nice, right? It was calm, relaxing, right? I want that. I don't need to be biting my nails in the 9th inning worrying about a win. So let's hope that happens, Chris. Everybody in the chat, thank you for tuning in to another Mets post-game show. Both channels got it going on today. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you are not a subscriber of the both channels. Roundtable podcast Sunday. What time? Not exactly sure yet, but we'll find out. So another Mets Roundtable podcast. The best hour on YouTube. Apparently, a lot of people are calling it all of a sudden, and it's getting very popular very quickly. So make sure you tune in on Sunday. But with that said, we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Let's go Mets. 2-1 Mets victory tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Let's go Mets.
Go Mets.